We're continuing the Maimer Alpayim Shana Kadma Torah L'Olam that was said by the Rebbe on the second day of Shavuos Tafshin Yud Aleph. So in order to understand the idea of the Alpayim Shana Kadma Torah L'Olam, of the levels of the Torah that's above the world, and which is the highest and the greatest level of this in the Torah. So we begin by explaining the different levels of the Torah as it says in the Pasuk in Mishlei. So let's try and understand these levels of the Torah in the best possible way, as best as we can. We start from the essence of Torah. Vo'eye etzloi amoin. The Torah says, I was or I will be. Amoin. The greatness of Hashem, the tool with which Hashem creates the world. And as we explained, that tool is the highest part, because it's not a tool of creation merely, it's a tool which shows the very essence of Hashem, how the essence of everything is the essence of Hashem. It reveals the spirituality in the world. And therefore this level of Torah is Torah the way it is within the essence of Hashem, Va'eya Etzloi, it's closest, it's near Hashem. In the essence of the Torah itself. And as we explained last time, just to repeat the concept, that this is what the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that the Torah is like water. It's nimshal l'mayim, it's compared to water, because ma mayim yordim imakim gavaya l'makim namoich. Just as water descends from a high place to a low place, so also the Torah descends from Makom Kvuda, from its honorary place where it is fully one with Hashem, and it comes level after level until it comes to be inside and revealed in the physical objects of the physical world, which is where the Torah and the mitzvahs are. That is how the Torah comes down. So it starts from the highest level of Torah, where it's etzloi, it's one with Hashem. Then it becomes shashuim. It becomes a pleasure thing of Hashem. When is the pleasure revealed? When va'eye shashuim yoim yoim, when it comes into chachma and bina, into the intellectual aspect of Torah, into the intellectual levels of Torah. And as we explained, intellectual levels of Torah are in essence above the world, but they're above the world in order to come into the world. Just like by a person, the intellect of a person's understanding is for themselves, but yet with Hashem, he doesn't need to understand something for himself. So the understanding means the concepts of how it's brought down into the next level so that it can now come into the world. But where it is in intellect, it is merely an intellectual idea, meaning it's still above the world, and that's why we said Alpayim Shana Kadma Torah L'Olam, that's above the world. After that, it comes to the next level, where it's Mesachekes Lefanav B'chal Eis, where the Torah is playing, which means rejoicing. It's the revealed pleasure at all times. That's the Torah, the way it comes into Midas, into time, into the realms of time. It's already connected to time, but yet B'chal Eis, it's time that's above time, because it's time which isn't limited to past, present, and future. So it's already the Midas, the emotional attributes of the world. It's coming into a level which connects to the world as is, but yet it's still not within the limitations of the world. That's the midas, that's the level of the emotional attributes, the godly attributes, the emotional faculties of godliness. Then Torah comes into a further level. Misachekes b'tevel artzai. Tevel Artzai is his land, which is the universe. That's the level of Malchus of Atzilus, that already relates to the world, but yet still in a spiritual manner. The final level is V'shashuai. As B'nai Adam, my pleasure is revealed with people. That's the Torah, the way it's expressed in the physical world with people, in the physical aspects of the physical world. So these are the levels of Torah. The way Torah comes as water from a Makam Gavaya, from the highest place, the essence, Etzlai, and it comes down level after level, where it relates to the world, but still above the world. And then it comes into a level where it's already within the realms of time, but where it's still beyond the limitations of time. And finally into the spiritual worlds, Malchus of Atzilus, and then finally into the world itself. Now, in order to understand how the Torah comes down from one level to the next, and specifically why we say Shashuai twice, in the first level of Yom Yom, and then Shashuai as B'nai Adam. Let's look at how it is in a person, all these levels, the way it is in a physical person down here. A person has inside his soul the faculties of Tainug, which is pleasure. Pleasure is a level which is in the essence of the soul that's above intellect. A person's pleasure isn't something which is limited in an intellectual understanding. The power of Tainug is the very essence, it's the depths of the soul where the soul enjoys something. However, the pleasure itself of the soul remains hidden. When is pleasure revealed? When a person understands something. Whether it's through Chachma. Chachma is wisdom. When a person realizes a new concept, as the Gemara says, as we mentioned yesterday, Tzavu panav shel Rababo al shematzah teisef techadeta, his face shone with pleasure because he found a new idea, a new concept, a new halacha. Even more than that, when a person understands something, that causes the deepest pleasure. The pleasure of understanding, the tainug ha'asaga, the pleasure of being able to comprehend something is the deepest possible pleasure. Now the question is, if pleasure is above intellect, above understanding, why do we say that pleasure is revealed through intellect? And the concept and the idea of it is that although pleasure itself is above intellect, but it's something that is so high, it's hidden, it's not revealed. When does pleasure reveal itself? When it comes down into intellect. Chachma and especially Bina. And in the same manner, in godly pleasure, so to speak, there's the level of Atik. Atik is the Pnimius HaKeser, it's the inner essence of, so to speak, God's crown. Crown meaning the essence of godliness that's above Chachma, which is already within the Ishtalshlus of the world, which is already revealed in the world. Atik is something which is removed. It's Atika Kadisha, it's removed from the spiritual realms. It's something which is godliness itself, but that's hidden, that's beyond revelation. When is it revealed? We say that V'avad Alei Bihu, Hu da Atika, meaning the Avaida, when it comes in a way of understanding. Chachma and Bina, that's when it's revealed. And that's why we say that Gan Eden, when it says in Parshas Bereshis, V'nahar yoytze me'Eden lahashkos es Gan, the river goes out of Eden to water the garden. The river that goes out of Eden. Eden means the essence of pleasure. Where is that revealed? In Chachma. the Nar, the river that comes out of Eden, which reveals and expresses Eden, is Bina, understanding. And that's why we say that even though there's the Torah, the essence of Torah, which is one with Hashem, that's the pleasure of the King himself. But where is that pleasure revealed? In Chachma and Bina. However, even Chachma and Bina is still intellect that's above emotions. Pleasure is revealed in intellect. But it's still contained. When does it break forth that it should be called misachekes? From the word schoik, laughter. Uncontrolled laughter. When does it come into laughter? When it comes into midas, when it comes into the emotional attributes. And that's why where does it say misachekes? Only when it comes into bechales. Moreover, the idea, it says, we know that there's a halacha asur la'adam she'yimale schoik piv ba'olam haza. A person is not allowed to fill his mouth with laughter in this world in the time of galus. Now, although there's a mitzvah to always be happy, we're not saying don't be happy, but schoik, laughter, unbridled, unlimited laughter, that's taking it beyond. That's taking it in a level which is beyond the limitation. That's choik. When is it misachekes? When it's b'chaleis, and even more than that, misachekes b'tevel arze, when it comes down into malchus, into the actual world, even if it's the spiritual world. It reveals the pleasure. However, all that is still the pleasure in a way of Or Yashar. We know that there's two ways, as we learned about it also in the last Maimer. There's two ways that the Torah connects to the world. We learned it in the Maimer, V'salachti b'seichechem. There's two ways that godliness is brought down in the world. There's one way which is called Or Yashar, the straight light that comes from above. There's an Or Chayzer, the reflecting light that comes from below. It comes through the avodah of a person down here. Or Yashar is revealing godliness in the world. But Or Chayzer is when through the avodah of a person, godliness becomes revealed in an even stronger manner from the world down here, because that's fulfilling the purpose. That's fulfilling the goal and the reason for the creation of the world. Through the fact that the godly light is recognized down here as well. And in that way we're also saying two types of pleasure. There's the pleasure of Or Yashar. That's Shashuim Yoim Yoim. Chachma and Bina. Torah is revealed from its place where it's one with Hashem. It becomes revealed into the intellect, in the godly intellect. And becomes revealed even more, in a more powerful way of Misachekes, until B'tevel Arze, where it's revealed in the spiritual worlds, the spiritual realms. Not just in intellect, but in the realms that connect to the world. That's all Or Yashar, the way Torah is revealed from above to be revealed into the world. That causes the pleasure to be revealed, Shashuim, from when it's in its essence, where it's actually fulfilling its purpose and becoming revealed, but it's still revealed in a way of Or Yashar in the spiritual light. It's only when it's Shashuai as B'nei Adam, when it's Or Chayzer, when Torah is revealed through the Torah affecting the physical world, through the Torah expressing itself in Torah, in mitzvahs, in halachas which are in the actual physical world, in actions which are in the physical world, that's the Gili of Or Chayzer, the reflecting light, the bouncing light, the light that comes from below. Then there's a full Shashuai as B'nei Adam. That's when the second level of pleasure is revealed. An even deeper level of pleasure, the pleasure that comes from the purpose and the goal of creation. These are the five different levels of Torah, and of how Torah comes from the highest place down into the world. And Mitzvah Hashem, next time we'll continue to explain the end of the Maimer, a little bit more about Oyer Choizer and how that's revealed in the deepest way with the coming of Mashiach.